This is Dabu7 with an earthquake update. We have seen a series of small quakes following this 4.6, 4.7 quake that just struck here within the past couple hours in California. Now, we saw a pretty big quake that struck down here in this region. Then, well, actually before that, we had witnessed the big quake that hit in Iraq, right there on the Iraq-Iran border. You can see here, there's been some quakes hit afterwards, mid-level range. Coming right across that line, across the ocean, we run across the New Madrid, and right there, here within the past 5 hours, we've seen a little bit of action, and also in Arkansas, they're right next to it. Now in Oklahoma, we often see swarming connected to the fracking and everything else, but we have this line that runs straight across from the one that went down in Iraq to right where the big one hit in Southern California. You can also see West Yellowstone. Yellowstone is continuing to see the swarming small quakes, especially on the western front of the caldera here. We did see a decent one hit on the eastern front. So I said we need to keep an eye on this, especially with quakes kind of heating up here. We've had a 3-pointer now strike up here in Northern California. I sent out a tweet where they had stated 7 quakes in this region. And obviously people wanting to pay attention to the fault line here. We've talked about the San Andreas before. We've talked about the faults that run through this region and how they come right down here to the Salton Sea and then break apart. It stops here because of this spot and it continues in fragments. And really, you have to watch this area. If they start to hit here, you may have seen some demonstrations and other videos where they show what would happen if a big quake emanated from here. It would unzip right up the fault line in this direction, and it would grow in magnitude as it vibrates up through here to a certain degree. But they're saying that it would unzip from the Salton Sea on up. That's one of the biggest possibilities up into this area. So let's zoom in here. You can see there's been a little bit of activity around this. This is sitting right here on this ridge line. And we can see now it's swarming pretty good right here in this area. All these quakes coming from this area around Stone Canyon. I zoomed in to see if this was a facility or something. And when I zoomed in, it looked to be like a mansion with tennis courts, a lake, everything else. Looks to be some big houses up here on this ridge. The California hills. Something's going on in this region, and it could be associated with the fault line. This is a series of very shallow quakes. All of these coming in around 3 to 15 kilometers in depth. Many of these being 3 to 4. 3, 4, 5 in depth. But we're now seeing some swarming. After this quake, we'll have to keep an eye on it, and I'll update with more information if we see any more activity come out of this region. But something to pay attention to here in terms of quakes. We have seen some decent quakes hitting. Japan was hit. I believe Costa Rica in that region. The Iraq region. Small quakes across the New Madrid fault. The swarms continue in Yellowstone. And we'll keep an eye here on Southern California. California as a whole. I'll leave links below. This has been Dabu7 with an earthquake update. Peace.